it because it's convenient, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's similar to sort of the Seattle coffee here when we got it. It just like it's the rush, but I think Seattle survives in South Africa based on all the sweet drinks and the stuff, not the coffee. So I mean, not Seattle coffee. Sorry, Starbucks. Seattle coffee is
Mm.
actually really good, but I think South Africans have a very specific taste for coffee. But anyway, well, I suppose it is coffee. Cheers. Mimi, Jace, Cheeto, welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions. It's so good to have you guys back. Thank you
thank
for
you.
making the
Yeah, thanks
time.
for
Early
having us.
morning Canada, yeah. So, and we've been
Cheeto.
trying really hard. Yes, Cheeto, hi. We can get. Is it good? There we go. Hold on a second. Okay, wait. I got to open up one piece of software, and then I'm going to send Cheeto a message. All right, you ready? Here we go. This is for Cheeto. Oh,
Aw, look at that, Cheeto.
because we love you. What a face. Yep. The very, very sweet dogs. I was mentioning John Crane when we were chatting off air. John was an athlete of mine. He now trains out of Barbell Bullies. Great guy, very involved in powerlifting. But he has one called Buddy, and Buddy's nickname is Ankle Shark because when you're not looking, he's in there. Not necessarily in a bad way, but I think he just wants to make sure that everybody understands who's the boss. So, yep. Guys, I think we haven't spoken to you, what is it, since last year or even before that?
Yeah, it was right after South Africa, I think. That was
What?
the last time.
No way. So that's really
Yeah.
time has really flown. So I just want to get that angle right there. We go. Cool. So how have you been? A lot's happened. We missed you in Austin. I wasn't able to get over there, but you had quite a cool comp, and a lot's been going on. I love the training videos. I don't know who's working harder, you in the bench or Jace trying to get the shirt on. So just
Oh,
sorry, go for Jace.
I was gonna say grip lifting is a team sport.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's a very, very no. It's just amazing to watch, and I think the thing that I loved, and I love that photograph that you took, or it was taken of us, I think, at World Bench when I was TC. But the best part about being TC is being in the back there and seeing everything that's going on. You learn so much, and it's been crazy. But what have you guys been up to? And a quick intro from each of you, so those who don't know you who are watching can get a little understanding.
Yeah, I guess let's start with the intro.
Cool.
Um,
Let's start with Cheeto
yeah.
first.
Okay. All right, so this is Cheeto.
Yeah.
He's a year and a half old.
Oh.
He's going to his first IPF bench press world championships. We leave tomorrow.
Is he going with?
So he will be there. He's coming. We got all his paperwork on Friday. And
that is so cool. Okay. Woo.
Yeah, I still have to get a little tie for him, a little Team Canada tie.
Yes.
But other than that, he's ready.
Okay. That is epic.
So yeah, so that's Cheeto.
Okay.
That'll be his we've only had him since February, but it will be his second international flight with us. We took him to Utah last month.
Right.
So
sure.
He's a little pro already.
That's
little traveler.
Phenomenal. That's so, like, how big a thing is it to organize for a dog to travel internationally?
It's not too bad. The only thing with this travel is that Norway has some specific entry requirements. Like he needed a special treatment. So we had to do that on Friday, and it has to be given 2 to 5 days before you leave. So it's kind of just figuring out timing and stuff. And then, you have to get a physical exam with the vet, then bring him to the government agency, get all the stamps and stuff. And yeah, he's good to go.
That's so cool to know.
Yeah.
And does he have a passport?
He does not. Our other dog does, actually. Okay. The EU actually has pet passports. So
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
Cheeto doesn't have a passport yet, but
I think that's such it's invaluable, particularly. I mean, it's fun. You want to travel with your dog, but for people who need the support of their animals, I think that's such an amazing thing. My memory of traveling with dogs were South Africans emigrating to Australia, and like the dog would have to be in quarantine for 6 months, and some people made a decision around not taking the dog because they wouldn't want to submit it to that kind of trauma. And like, so it's so cool to hear that you can just pop overseas and like get some stuff done. That's awesome. He's going to be doing his category 2 referee exam. Am I right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you'd be able to stay awake that long.
Yeah.
They're already asleep, so.
Okay, all right, cool. So since he's sleeping, then Mimi, let's move on to you, and then we'll finish with Jace. Jace is that, but usually the order, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm getting ready to compete in Norway at Bench Worlds. I compete on Sunday, the 18th, so in a week from today. I compete classic, and then I compete equipped on the 22nd, on the following Thursday.
Right.
I'm an M1 lifter as of last year, so I made my M1 debut in Austin and came away with double gold. And second place best lifter in equipped. So yeah, moving up a couple weight classes this year, so hopefully give that another crack. So
okay, awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully defend my both titles would be ideal.
Sorry, I mean, I was doing the applauding, so some of the listeners might have missed that. So you've got titles in both the classic and the equipped.
Yes, and then prior to that, so that was my M1 debut. I competed. So this will be my 5th Bench Worlds. I've medaled I've medaled in South Africa and then in Lithuania before that. But last year were my first golds, so
that's
it was came home with quite the haul. Actually, the M1 women in Austin from Canada, we kind of crushed it. So we got gold in classic and equipped, like the team medals.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, epic.
Awesome.
That's very, very, very cool. And then the young gentleman over to your left. How you, dude?
Hi.
How good?
Hey, buddy.
Good. How you been?
I've been real good, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm Jacen Spellingham. I've been the head coach for the Team Canada team at the World Bench Press Championships for 2019, 2023, or sorry, 2021, 2023, and 2024. Lithuania, Sun City, of course, and Austin. We have a new head coach this year. I have a new job that I just couldn't give away as much time to the lifting venue this year. So I'll help her, of course, and might have to do a bit of work even while I'm there if I can. Just wasn't sure if I could get away from it. So we got Arshia is the new head coach for this year. He's an equipped lifter, very experienced bench presser. So he'll be awesome, and got a couple really good assistants. So I'll be there to help him if he needs anything. But yeah, no, it's a little changing of the guard, and it'll be awesome.
I think that's such a cool thing, because I don't know, for those who are not involved from the coaching side, and I think even with most of the teams that I see, you're so involved for the entire time of the competition. And it's very long days, very long hours, 1-2 hours sleep, and you're back in and you're helping, you're finishing late. So you don't really get a chance to have a break. And I know when we spoke a little bit earlier, you guys are hopefully also going to get a little chance to travel, do a little bit of the tourist stuff. So I think that's something that's very, very special, actually, and very well earned. So I did laugh, though, when you said you might help out. I think we know what's going to happen. And the only way to get away from that will be to get away.
Yeah, no, it'll I'm looking, they're well set. They've got 2 good assistants. Team's going to be huge this year, so Canada's sending a lot. I think it's even bigger than Austin.
Wow.
So and with the double platform, they're going to have their hands full. So there's what they call interim assistant coaches, basically the personal handlers. If you know the athletes, they'll be relied upon to help out. So yeah, no, I think Canada's going to be a bit of a force this year, so I'm looking forward to it.
I cannot wait. I'm really excited. I'm a little bit heartbroken that I can't go. but I do have to be a responsible adult. So our first corporate client, they've been with us for nearly 2 decades. And they've really, like, they stuck with us through COVID. They were the first corporate of ours to go online, and they really supported us. So they've got a wellness day on the 20th of May that I have to be at. It's like 400 or 500 staff members. So, like, I couldn't say no to that. And the day I was planning my trip to come to World Bench was the day they got hold of me to say, hey, we need you at this event. It literally was like 4 hours apart. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll be there. Understood completely. By the way, just as a side question, to be a coach, a coach for Team Canada, are sprints required? I mean, do you have to have like a sub 12 seconds 100-meter time? Because I'm remembering back to Sun City,
Yeah.
running to give in the attempts and to change the attempt, the bench press third attempts. That was insane.
Yeah, and I was also I was still rehabbing a torn Achilles at that time.
Sure.
So running back and forth with the where you entered and where the temp selection needed to be put was on the other side versus usually it's right near it. So there was, I think all the coaches got a good workout.
I think it was about 4 or 5 kilometers apart, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah.
so I think at Commonwealth and World Masters now, that like we were in the middle. So the attempt cards were right there back at Sun City, which was a lot of fun. So let's chat a little bit about the upcoming comp. What are you guys expecting? What are you looking for? I mean, is there stuff you're allowed to talk about? You know, Jace is going to be tapping you on the shoulder, going, mm-mm. And so tell us about the upcoming comp.
No, I don't know. I'm not a really secret keeper in this.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
the nominations are what the nominations are. That's not a secret. And I think, our previous lifts are all on YouTube. So people could see if they wanted to scope us out. But in terms of goals, so I'm competing 57 in classic. So I'm cutting down a little bit for that. And I'm nominated second, but first is half a kilo above me. So it will be competitive. There are a few of us who are going to be right in the mix. So obviously hoping to come out on top, but it'll be a good, like a fun competition anyway. I'm looking forward to that. And then equipped, we had a few people drop out, unfortunately, from my category. So I think there were only 4 of us.
Okay.
But no, that'll be fun. I'm going up a weight class for that. So my bench, my weights at Bench World, I always, for some reason, compete in 2 weight classes, just how nominations are. So last year I competed 52 equipped. I cut down to 52 and then was going for the world record. Got red lighted on my attempts. So didn't make that last year, but this year I'm going all the way up to 63 equipped. So and I'm finding that extra body weight is helping me.
Right.
Helping me lift, and it's a lot more fun. So I hit my an all-time personal best at Canadian Nationals in March.
Okay.
So hoping, ideally if it's a good day, hopefully exceed that and keep pushing that personal best.
And exceeding the personal best.
Yeah, hopefully that's the goal, but
I'm sorry. Did that?
Right?
I was going to say. Oh, sorry. Did that sound like a request?
It's a statement.
It's a statement. It's a statement of fact. Absolutely. Just before we talk about Austin, I just wanted to get your sense on that and what you're expecting from the comp with Team Canada going now to Norway. But your nationals, everybody that I've spoken to was blown away by the setup and the event and the quality of the event, the stuff that we saw on social media, just even from the lighting on the podium and the backdrop of the podium. It looked like the Oscars. It actually looked like the Oscars back in the 80s when they had budget. So it looked absolutely fantastic. How was that for you?
Well, so speaking of the podium, did you see the picture of Cheeto on the podium with me? He came to nationals.
I didn't. I will go back and look. Sorry.
There's a picture. I took Cheeto on the podium with me. I won best lifter, so I got this gigantic trophy. It's like
Yeah.
it's huge. I'm glad we didn't have to fly and we just drove because
Okay.
it wouldn't have fit in my case. But Cheeto fit in the trophy too, so I got a picture of Cheeto in the trophy.
That is epic. That is absolutely
Yeah.
epic. Okay.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, no, the
Yeah.
competition was really great. It was well
Mm.
run. We had our Western Canadian Championships, our regionals
Mhm.
there last year in the same venue. And it was organized by the Stins and the
Mhm.
Fowlers, like Rhea Stin and her
Mm.
family.
Mm.
And they always do they always do an amazing job. Something that I always really appreciate too. Not just as a lifter, but as a viewer, is that they have commentators.
Yeah.
It just makes it a lot more entertaining to watch, and it's always fun to watch your own lifts back and just hear what
The
people are
announcers
saying.
are say,
So
"Yep, yep,
yeah, but no, it was
absolutely."
really well done. Obviously, the quality of the live stream,
Mm. Mm.
uh, yeah, you couldn't have asked for more. So yeah.
Absolutely awesome. And then in terms of Team Canada and the growth, so Jason, maybe you can speak to this as well. And Mimi, just sort of, I think it's the energy that I saw with you guys at Sun City in 2023 was amazing. But just getting to know the guys over the years and chatting to you, it just seems to be booming, and especially the youth that are coming through, but even the masters, like with Sil, you guys are rocking it. How's the growth of the team been going, and sort of what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so when I first was head coach in Lithuania, it was a little smaller team,
Mm.
and but it was kind of the core main lifters. A few exceptions, of course, and then we didn't really send coaching staff to Kazakhstan the following year, just due to the Russian aspect
Mm.
with the invasion that just happened. So there were some athletes that still went, but then we put together a coaching team and went, of course, to Sun City. We grabbed a few more,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the core athletes that were in Lithuania now are Sun City. And then Austin was kind of a catalyst where it was close enough that a lot of the Team Canada athletes had not competed in Worlds. It was close enough to go do their first Worlds, and a lot of them now are coming to Norway again. So
Mm.
I think Austin was a great stepping stone, so they could kind of get their feet in the water and compete with the best and see where they stood. Because a lot of it maybe is fear. I'm not good enough or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But really, as you know, it doesn't matter. Really what you lift. It's all about kind of placing and
Yep.
just beating yourself if you're not in the medal hunt. Because there's lots of times you can win gold without hitting a PR sometimes. So you just do what you have to do,
Yeah.
and it's a little different than traditional meets, because really Worlds is about doing the best placing you can do. Um, but yeah, Austin was amazing. We had over 100 athletes, between the two disciplines combined. So and now Norway. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's creeping up there. We got a lot of younger athletes coming in, and some of the older ones that maybe retired for a bit came back because it was in Austin. So that's awesome
Yeah.
to kind of pull them back and pull them back into competitions. So it's been really good.
That's fantastic. I think Austin was great. The point that you made is with getting more coaches to get their feet wet and getting other athletes back in. It's always a huge help when the competitions are relatively close by. It might be international, but you guys said you drove. So, by the way, how far was the drive?
Oh. No, we didn't drive to Austin. We drove to
To
Oh,
nationals.
National.
okay. It's gotta go. That's still got to be. I mean, what would that be, like a 2-3 day drive?
Probably
Yeah.
Yeah.
20
Oh, it
some
was.
hours roughly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
You could do it.
close.
I need more of this. Yep. Okay, you could do that in
One thing
two,
that
3 days. Mm? Yeah.
um
Yeah.
one thing that I did notice in Austin and now coming into Norway too is there are more people getting into equipment,
Mm-hmm.
into bed shirts. I notice especially women, it seems like, are
Mm.
really, getting interested in it. So it's exciting to see that equipped team grow.
That's epic.
In Lithuania, it was a very small team, like Jacen
Mm.
said, and that was like still pandemic times, sort
Yeah.
of. Um, I was the only equipped lifter for Canada in the
Wow.
whole competition.
The whole
So,
competition.
and that's actually
Sure.
how Jacen ended up coaching is
Mm.
because there were only a a dozen of us or so. um, they nobody had applied to coach our team, but I can't get myself into a bench shirt. I needed help. So then Jacen just applied to be team coach, and then that's sort of how he got into it. And there was, I was the only equipped lifter. No one else was even going to be there to help me from the team. So,
Wow.
but yeah, so it's nice seeing that coming from 2021, where I was the only equipped, like, male or female lifter, to now we've got like a decent equipped team. So yeah, it's really exciting to see. It's yeah,
What do you
I love it, and it's it's fun to have training partners too.
absolutely, and I think it's you don't want to be the only one in the back, getting ready and getting prepped. It's great to have a team there. And what's your sense around how it's grown? Because I was chatting to one of the US lifters, Mike Rodriguez, and also about Equipped, and he's very passionate about Equipped and working to grow it. The British coaches, Craig Coggles, also growing the British Equipped team, where I think some countries struggle. What's the attraction? What makes you think it? Sorry, geez, my brain is broken today. Why do you guys think that it's growing so much?
I think it's a sort of thing where you see other people do it, right? So I think the more people get into it, if someone saw me lift a few years ago, then got into it, and someone else sees them, and it's learning a new skill. Sometimes classic, it's harder to make those big gains, but you learn a new skill, equipped, which is it seems like a whole different sport.
It
and
is
you can
a
make
whole
progress
different sport.
quickly.
I think it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And you make progress quickly because there's so many things to learn. And that's exciting for a lot of people. And when other people look in, they see someone make big progress and think, oh, I can do that too.
Yep.
And then I think it just that's how I think it grows and
just grows and picks up. Yeah. Jace?
Yeah. There's a couple factors there. Of course, I think maybe Mimi's being a bit humble. I think she helped.
Yep.
Definitely in Alberta and our circle. People see her success. People see her all, every time we go to the gym.
Yeah.
She's probably in her shirt. We do a lot of our classic lifting at home. So if we go to the conventional powerlifting gyms, we'll be in a shirt. So they'll see that and see some exposure and see her success. And maybe wrongly or rightly, she makes it look easy.
Yep.
Right? She's doing well. And then so yeah, people pop into it. But then, as we talked before, they realize they need a support system.
Yeah.
You can't just go and do equipped lifting on your own, right? You need somebody there to help you with the shirt. You need spotters. I think that's the big hurdle for anybody to continue in the sport or that side, is that if you don't have that support system, you're going to realize, hey, I can't get my workout in. Nobody can spot me. Nobody can put me in my shirt. And so you fall to the wayside because it becomes difficult to train. But as you get the structure of support and other people doing it, so you can all get together, especially a very strong increase in women lifters in Alberta and equipped. So that's been great. So I think that's really the why maybe it's harder to develop, but once you get kind of a work around, you get those other people doing it together, it sure makes a big difference. Yeah. And because there's not so many, I'll be honest, maybe you can achieve a little higher placing right now because you're not going up against as many as you would in classic. So there's a lure of a higher placing potential medal.
Yeah. Or even just making a world team, right?
Yeah, making the team for the first time. You just want to represent Canada. So there's some of that, of course, criteria is important.
So it's such a great point that you make in terms of that growth in that team and the support that's needed. I think one of the things that I found in South Africa when speaking to athletes, I did a little bit of equipped. I mean, it was so cool. I mean, I did an equipped bench in a shirt that was probably 800 years old. It was probably from the late 80s, early 90s. Sort of it looked like the fabric that you'd put over your carport to shade your car, like stitch on a couple of layers of that. And it was amazing for me. I could feel the, why you would want to get into it, because I think I opened on a 145 and I bombed the first one, bombed the second one. And then I thought, I just want to try to get my elbows more down, and got my elbows down, and I got the line in, and then the shirt, it was like, what? And then just in the practice area, after my third attempt, I went and did a 165 just for fun, and it was like, whoa, that's amazing. So I can understand that draw. And what it got me thinking about when you were talking now is how important, because the big gripe in South Africa, and I suppose rightly so, we're far from the rest of the world. Everything is expensive. You order a shirt, is it going to be the right one? And maybe when I started, I had one shirt, so you had to make it work. I still have that shirt. It just doesn't fit over the tummy anymore, but that's another story. But, should people not participate in equipped lifting, even at international level, if they can't get the perfect gear? Or do you think they should just keep, can lifting in the wrong shirt cause damage to your technique that you can't recover from?
So yeah, this is something that we've had lots of discussions about, because I've tried all the bed shirts. But I, through my years have come to, realize that how equipment matters, but it doesn't matter as much as people think it does. And I was fortunate to have guidance when I started to start with the least aggressive shirt that I could get. I mean, and actually, I've come full circle. I'm in that same shirt.
Oh, wow.
Again right now.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of times people want, they see some success in one shirt and think, well, if I want to take it to the next level, I need a more aggressive shirt. And then they, it keeps, this one didn't work. Okay, I'll need the next one, right? But
is that dude, is that cleavage? No, those are my shoulders.
Yeah. And then, it's such a fight to work through a shirt rather than learn to work with the one that you have. So, I mean, if you have, after going, all my experiences and, watching other people as well, it's sort of come to the conclusion that, you just need one. It should fit, appropriately, I guess. And you should be able to make it work. You should be able to touch with it. And then really go from there, unless you really get stuck and you're getting nothing from it, then maybe think about moving forward. But I think you can easily compete with just one shirt for much longer than most people think that you can.
I think especially new people, maybe they miss the forest through the trees. The most important part is you have to touch first and get the lift. Equipped lifting is, as you know, I think in Lithuania there was 9 lifters in one flight, and there was so it's 27 total lifts, right? But there was only 4 good lifts.
Wow.
And the guy at the lowest nomination ended up getting a bronze at Worlds because he got a lift in.
I think there was like 100-kilo spread between first and third, because everybody in the middle just was unsuccessful.
So you have to be able to touch, and then I think they kind of get, I touched. I need a more aggressive low cut collar all of a sudden. And as there is a bit of, a new shirt is going to add 20 kilos to my bench out of nowhere. They just think that'll happen.
Yeah.
It really won't, right?
I've been there. I've thought that before too. And
So I feel sometimes, they jump too quick. And as, as we've learned, we can touch, but we haven't stopped improving with the shirt we got. We're hitting PRs still. We know that we can touch it when we need to get our first lift in, and then we can get aggressive, from there on. So I feel they kind of lose that. They fight the shirt and it'll be there on meet day. I'll touch on meet day. I hear that so much. No, and that's fine if you're super experienced, as you know, the super heavyweights. Maybe they don't touch all the time. They just want to keep that. They do their workout and they keep it just above touching. But that's different when you're, Shane Martin and Garrett Bentley, right? They know what they're doing. So, but for new people, you really got to touch first, and then if I just feel I've got this, then you can add maybe a little
little
different,
bit
more
more.
aggressive.
Sure. I think,
Yeah, and there's, like you said with your elbows, right? There are so many technique things that you can adjust in just in the same shirt, right? You don't necessarily need to learn a new shirt. You just learn to be do the most you can with the shirt
with
you
the
have.
shirt you got. You absolutely love
Yeah.
it. Do you think it's a bit of that, something shiny and new, all of these different shirts are coming out with different positions and stuff that's leading, it's almost preventing people from getting into the sport?
Well, yeah, yes, some of it, and the cost is, but
Mm,
I think you're starting to see a little bit of a the, let's say, the underground market just to sell used
mm,
shirts. People get them on and they don't quite fit, or they don't need them anymore. They have moved to another one, so they'll sell them because the prices, the new ones are expensive. So
mm.
I'm hoping people are taking advantage of that rather than buying a brand new one and realizing, oh, I don't have the support system. I wasted $500 on this shirt
Yeah.
for nothing, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. It just, and knowing your golfing background, I was chuckling to myself because I had a wonderful pro in South Africa, and he was a good friend, Rory Garton. And he was the pro at Kalani, and then he went to Bryanston. But we always used to joke that I'd say to him, "Hey, the guy in the pro shop said that this new driver can give me an extra 20 meters." He said, "Sure. Why do you
Yeah.
want to hit 20 meters further into the rough?" You know,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was thinking exactly the same thing actually, Nick. Was
yeah,
the golf world's like I need something new. It's
yeah,
it's marketed a bit that way, because of golf. He's always trying to resell
hmm
resell it. But yeah, that's a bit of the lure too with a shirt. Is like this new shirt's going to be the answer to all my problems.
problems. Yeah,
But technique is still technique,
hmm
right? So, and some shirts just don't fit.
yeah,
Like we've tried low cut collars, and it's a hard touch, and you expect that bar to rebound up because
mm,
it was
mm,
such a fight, and there's just no zip. There's just
sure.
nothing that explodes it off the chest. And then we get like her shirt, which is a little easier to touch, but the ability to press is
Mm.
is there. It comes back. So not everything's created equal,
You're making me want to get back into my old shirt. And what's great, like, it's so loose, I can put it on myself. Let me put it that way. So,
Yeah.
that's what I love about it. And it's a little bit of a bump off. That speed off the bottom from it is mind blowing. And you just want to carry that momentum through to lockout. So, it's a lot of fun. I think, so the sense that I get is that it's not as much the shirt as time in the shirt, and just practicing and working it, and drilling it. So
Yeah.
that's phenomenal. I think we need more. We need more equipped lifting, just from the technical point of view, and also with an equipped meet. And I mean this from a place of love and kindness, and purely as a joke. It's my most fun thing at an equipped meet is watching the mainly the older master deadlifters trying to get down to the bar. Sometimes when they've gone on a little bit tight, and they can't even get down, where
Yeah, they have to grab one arm first to
yeah,
pull the other
run
arm
down, and
down.
it's like, oh, exactly. It's like you're physically exhausted just getting down to the bar. Then, so it's a lot of fun. So something, yeah. I think I'm going to go dig out my old shirt and see if I can get it to fit. Maybe it'll work well now. You never know. And I think that's the cool thing about the equipment as well, is it's expensive, but if you look after it, you maintain it, you wash it the right way, that it's always going to look after you, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
going to be fun. So I think with Team Canada, there are certain, I don't want to say groups or sub teams, or maybe like there's groups of guys that everyone gets on well with. I know we just spoke to Brian and to Sam and to a couple of the other guys. There anyone in particular you looking at going and hanging out with and having some fun with?
I don't know anyone particular, like everybody, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose it's
We're
a
probably
bit difficult question to ask. Sorry, it's like, who's your favorite?
the Vandenbergs. We don't,
Yeah.
because
Mm-mm.
Brian and Pam and Sam, they're all in Alberta. So we
Yeah.
see them more often, but we
Yeah.
haven't seen the Vandenbergs in a while. So,
Yeah.
and Gary,
Mm,
looking forward to seeing Gary, and yeah, everybody from Canada and from abroad too. That's kind of that's what I look forward to the most, is just getting everybody together. As coach, Jacen got
mm,
to know a lot of the coaches obviously in the
mm,
back
mm.
room. So, the coaches kind of have their own relationship. So looking forward to seeing, Team America, and
I will
we
say,
always get along
yeah,
well with them. And
yeah. Team Canada is a lot calmer than Team America from a coaching point of view. It's like,
Yeah, they get a lot of they got a lot of athletes going on.
Yep.
So you get it's like a little beehive. There's a lot
Yeah,
of buzzing
yeah, a lot of buzzing.
and they're usually in the hunt.
Yes.
So you need to have a lot of coaches watching numbers and
yeah.
making last minute calls. So
Yeah.
they get pretty active. Yeah.
100%. I think someone needs to give, and with all love to Steve, give him a chamomile tea, maybe, just like, it's so much fun. So you guys are planning on doing a little bit of touring afterwards and spending a little bit of time in country, just experiencing Norway?
Not really after. We're arriving early.
Okay.
So we're doing a little bit of sightseeing beforehand.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna check out the fjords and show Cheeto the world, and then and then settle in Drammen, and then hopefully go out for a few day trips from there.
All right, and lots of salmon. So very, very important. One of the things I wanted to touch on, just from a lighter point of view, you mentioned Garrett. Like, I didn't recognize him at Commonwealth and Masters this year because he shaved his head. And as always, not to say anything about Gareth, but let's just say he was walking in an area maybe he shouldn't have been walking in, with shoes he shouldn't have been wearing. So I was like, excuse me, you can't be. He's like, no, I'm an athlete. I'm not a. I was like, okay. And then I was like, wait a minute, Gareth. So and I spoke to him about this when we had him on the podcast. Should Crocs be considered sports shoes if they're in sports mode?
In 4x4 mode.
Well, you're probably talking to the wrong guy, because Garrett converted me to Crocs in South Africa because of my injury, my Achilles injury. My foot was a little swollen because I was still rehabbing, and so I moved down to Crocs, which are more comfortable for getting around, because Garrett had some, and you missed in Austin, Texas. Garrett's got a pair of cowboy Crocs.
He got the cowboy Crocs with the Spurs.
Yeah, those are something to see. Yeah.
That's a legend.
That's so cute.
No. I'm 100% Team Croc. I really think that they should be considered a sports shoe if you got them in sports mode. It's so comfortable for the lifters, And then as TC, you're running around after everyone trying to get them to get their sports shoes on. So I think, Team Crocs with the national flag on the Crocs. I think that's a really good way to go. So glad to hear you're on that. I think Garrett. Yep.
Oh, so I was gonna say, you said team Crocs.
Team Crocs. I'm with it 100%.
Team Mexico last year in Austin, they had team sneakers, and they were pretty epic.
Oh wow. Sure. Okay.
Were they bejeweled? They were or metallic, or they were really, really nice.
Pretty flashy.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. Okay, that's very, very cool. Yeah. That's and then that could be a good online sort of a trading thing for the youngsters, where they do their sneaker trading. That's very, very cool. So what I wanted to ask you guys, and I have a couple of fun questions and sort of one or two serious. So we can go through. What is your favorite thing about powerlifting? It can be serious, or it can be a little bit lighthearted and fun.
Favorite.
I'll go first. I think for me, is two-part, is the international flavor. Obviously, as being head coach, I've been to some areas that I would probably never go pick on my own, right out as there's other places I want to see in the world. So I wouldn't necessarily said I need to go to Vilnius, Lithuania first, right? Absolutely loved it there. Beautiful city. I really enjoyed my time there.
Amazing coffee.
Yeah, good coffee.
The coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Sun City, I've heard of it. And I've always wanted to go. And as one of my still crimes is I never got to play the golf course there. I was just too busy. And it bothers me daily, Nick. I still wake up mad I didn't play golf there. And then of course, Austin, we've been to Austin.
And can I be mean? At both courses, you mean the Gary player and the Sun City?
Yeah, both of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So okay.
So and then you meet as I've been there, three full worlds. you bond with the other countries' coaches. Finland, those
Mm-hmm.
guys are hilarious.
Yeah.
They kind of, once you get to know them, they're how hilarious they are. Sweden's coaches are great, of course, Great Britain and American.
Mm.
Germany coaches
And
are awesome.
Germany and
Hungary,
Hungary, and
yeah.
the French, of course, France. You can speak the language, so it's just that's neat seeing this because they usually have their national coaches as part of a program, so you see the same people every year. So that's been that's neat, reconnecting and just that international flavor is what I really like,
Sure.
especially if you're just talking kind of worlds and that. And then it kind of gets back, of course, to the bigger picture is that it's just a big community,
Yeah.
regardless of where you're at in the world. Everybody understands the sport. They understand the difficulties. They understand what every athlete's going through. When Mimi was attempting her world record, the whole back is watching, right? And they're giving her, you know, kudos for an effort, saying that was good. I don't know why they red lighted, all these things, right?
Yeah.
So that's support. And these are from people we don't know. They just knew what she was attempting and it was impressive. So they know that and wanted to say, hey, great job.
Sure, that's awesome. Love that's it. It brings so much, and I think you've covered it. You've covered it so well with that. Thank you for that, Jace. Yeah, and just to talk about the golf quickly before we go to Mimi for this one. With Commonwealth and Masters last year, I wanted to speak to, and we're doing it for Masters this year, which is in Cape Town. Chatting to venues and stuff, so you know what to do and you can get an idea about restaurants and bars and wine farms and stuff. But in Sun City, I got to know the management quite well, and we had them on the podcast. So I did have a lady reach out to me to say, look, I want another day in the spa. My husband can't get a tee off time at the Gary Player. Can you try to speak to your contacts? And we managed to get him a tee off time. So when we're at Sun City next, there's juniors and sub-juniors next year at Sun City. You guys have to come over and visit, and then we're going to organize some tee-off times.
Yeah, if we ever come back there, if it ever moves back there where Mimi's competing, then I probably won't coach. I'll be at the course
at the course.
Whole week.
100%. So, well, I think we've got World Bench in 2027 in Cape Town, but we have to then organize for you to fly through. We'll drive down to Sun City. I'll drive you guys down. You get to play a round of golf, stay over maybe a night or two, and then come back. How does that sound?
Yeah, I'd love that.
That'd be awesome.
Okay,
yeah.
epic. And then also Arabella is just out of Cape Town, close to Amanus. So there's some cool courses there. So we'll definitely set something up. 100%. Okay, awesome. Mimi, what do you love about powerlifting?
I was going to say the same thing too. Is just the community in general. And that's something I didn't appreciate for the first few years of powerlifting. I didn't fully appreciate it as much as I do now. And then especially competing internationally and, making the friends we have, like you, everywhere in the world. It is really remarkable the support that we all give each other. Like in Austin, right? People I've never met before. We don't speak the same language, but you find a way to communicate.
Yeah.
And it's all support. We are all doing the same thing essentially at various levels, but I think we can all appreciate, it doesn't matter how strong somebody is. You can appreciate the effort. You can appreciate what they're doing, how they're feeling. And it's just, the relationships are the most important thing. And, even at local meets, it's, you're seeing all your friends again. It's a big reunion.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's great energy. It's just a really great community. You meet so many amazing people who, have totally different day jobs, right? We all come from different areas, but we all come together for the love of the sport. And I think it's a great thing. And I'm very grateful for it. And for having been around as long as I have been, and hopefully many more years to come, hopefully.
Many more decades to come.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And getting to share this with Jacen, of course, has been very special too. And Cheeto.
No, 100. That's so cool. And I think it's something very special where even when you're coming into the sport, you think, wow, this community is great. The more time you get to spend in it, the more time you realize how special it truly, truly is.
Mm-hmm.
And how valuable. That's awesome. All right. Now, this can be a fun one or it can be a serious one. What drives you mad about powerlifting? Jason,
I
looks
don't
like you're
know.
going first again, dude.
Uh, yeah, they're kind of maybe fixing it a little.
Mm,
Um, it's a little with the let's just sometimes the discrepancy between the lights, the red lights or white lights, and then the jury has to
mm, mm,
overturn because the lift is good, and you get a bit of oh geez, like it, a lot of red lights and a failed lift. Jury
mm, mm,
overturns it one way or the other way. So I know video camera is easier to see, but sometimes it just seems like it's maybe not quite worked out totally. Before you had to go and fight for your lift, you had to
mm,
go and
mm,
put money down. Now the jury just does it. So they're moving to a different aspect, and um, but sometimes it seems that if they don't catch it, that some of the lifts, and I'm maybe being a little biased because I,
mm,
I thought Mimi's last lift that for her world record was good, and there's
mm,
three reds, and it just didn't seem like I could get a clear answer from the refs on what they saw
mm,
that was red. That they kind of definitively it was butt or definitively it was like there was, and you look at the camera and there was nothing. So,
mm,
um, and so sometimes I just feel that maybe needs to be worked out a bit. That's just me as a coach, my coaching
mhm,
hat on.
mhm,
That we just need more consistency there. That's all I'm going to say. Everybody's working hard. I'm not saying
mm.
it's like nobody's not doing their job, but I'm just saying I just think it needs to be a little more consistent.
Right.
That's all.
100%. I think I was chatting to one of the young lifters last night, Chad Island, and trying to explain the coaching, the reffing stuff to him. And I think one of the things that we need to realize is powerlifting is a relatively new sport. And I think where we are right now is you either have very new refs at international level or older refs that have been doing it for a substantial amount of time. And it's coming down to, do we need to bring in technology? You spoke of cameras for butt. Is there a light or a laser that can be used even for elbows, putting lines on the screen? And it is a challenge with sort of error of parallax and camera angles, and then you need the same cameras for each comp. But I think we do need to start looking at evolving into supporting the referees in their decision. And definitely, if you red light an athlete, you have to be able to be ready to justify and substantiate exactly what the reason was, because we're professionals and we're there, and sometimes you're working a lot of sessions in a row and you can get a little fatigued, but yeah, it's you got to take it seriously and you got to show up. So I think 10, 15, 20 years from now, there'll be a lot of even in tennis, where you think with the ball hitting the net, where there's a beep, where it's electronic now, that type of stuff that we can start to bring in, because also the jury, I mean, they're really sharp guys, but again, you're looking at a screen and you're seeing it from a different perspective. So there's all of these things that absolutely need to come into it. But yep, it's tough. You got to be able to tell the coach or the athlete what the problem was, so the sport can evolve and the athlete can correct it. So 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Mimi, yours?
I I don't know. I guess I wish there were more funding for us.
Yeah.
At least in Canada, we pay our own way for
Hmm.
all of it. So it does get quite expensive to compete, especially internationally. And I think I wish, if I could change something, I
Hmm.
wish there were more support for us athletes, and that would give more people the opportunity to have these experiences
Sure.
too. So
100%. And that's why we do this. And that's why I'm grateful for
Mhm.
you guys. I mean, you're flying out tomorrow, but you're still giving us time on a Sunday morning to share your story, because I think the more awareness of powerlifting that there is, and the more awareness of the incredible things the athletes are doing and the stories that they're bringing back and the experiences that they're bringing back, it's going to benefit anybody that gets involved in the sport. You know, there are sports like soccer or football that have great sponsorship and funding, but I don't know if they're as beneficial to the individual participant as powerlifting is, in terms of your mental health, your physical health, your social health, your spiritual health, all of these wonderful things that the sport gives. And it's just, it needs the support, and you have my commitment. We're working very hard on that, and we're very grateful for you guys to being here, because it does. There has to be sponsorship, there has to be support for the athletes, and once that comes, that's when we're really going to see massive growth in the sport,
Mhm.
which is going to be awesome. So then, onto a slightly more serious question, as we start to wrap up, because Instagram only really give us an hour, and then we can't share the whole reel. What has powerlifting given you?
Uh, it's given me a lot, but I would just loop back to the whole community. The relationships that I've built through the sport are just invaluable. The experiences. I always encourage everybody who has the opportunity to compete
Mm-hmm.
internationally to do so, because it's such a special. Each world championship, each international, touches you in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting to meet athletes from different countries. Um, Powerlifting is one of the few sports where you can be relatively new in the sport, and whether you get to the national level or international level, you can meet you meet your here you can
Mm-hmm.
meet with you can meet your heroes. You can share the platform
Yep.
with the best of the best, and even if you're not at that level, but you can meet
What does it even
world record holders.
share a warm-up rack with your
Yeah,
heroes? Like, that is
yeah, and
incredible.
it's yeah, and it's such a just being around that, like I remember my very first worlds, um just seeing Jen Thompson. I meeting her. She was on the warm up platform next to me, seeing how she warmed up, seeing how this other very strong lifter was warming up, and just seeing the different techniques of how people got on their bench shirts, and you remember all of those things. So I encourage everybody who has any opportunity to do so,
Sure.
uh, to compete internationally. But it's just these the memories, and the relationships, meeting uh all these people from around the world, like Jacen said, traveling to places that we probably never would have gone to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, these are all. That's I think the thing I'm probably most grateful for from powerlifting, and I hope I can encourage other people who are coming up to experience this too, because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a wonderful thing that I just want everyone to have this. So
Awesome. I love that. Thank you.
yeah.
Jace, your what has powerlifting given you?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it from the coaching
Mm-hmm.
side because I've done it the most. Um, it's increased my. I'm in a different role for my day job. Let's say I'm a leader with teams and stuff, and high expensive budgets. So it's helped increase my leadership skills, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Working with all these athletes. The thing I love the most when I was coaching is helping change any of the athletes' perception of what is capable.
Sure.
I told every athlete at Austin, I said, "This is the world's. This place is magic. You can lift anything we put on the bar. Don't worry about it. You'll lift it."
Mm-hmm.
and and so many people achieve medals they never thought they could, and you see that, just that awakening of confidence and
Hmm.
just, you know pride in themselves, and I love seeing that back.
Sure.
I love, maybe I was a small, fire to that, to the explosion that they now go, hey, I can maybe win worlds one year, right? And you
Hmm.
move on, and you go from there. So I take a lot of those lessons, and of course I put it on my team.
Mm-hmm.
So if one of my, you know, work teammates are, having a bad day, I go, hey, it's not over yet. We're still can make this work. You take the positive and you get through it. And so I've taken a lot of that kind of being a coach, and of course what I've had it for my work, and put the two together, and it's made me a better coach and a better leader. So I'm thankful for that.
Sure. Wow. Love that. Yeah, this is why I love talking to you guys. You come up with awesome stuff, but that just, and not to say that our other guests don't, but I really love what you guys share, because it's almost, it's serious, it's real, it's profound, and it's to the point. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And something I'd like to add, is there anyone you think we should talk to from Team Canada that we haven't maybe spoken yet? So effectively, this is a nice way of saying, would you like to call anyone out on the podcast? Or you could message me and just maybe, say, hey, reach out to these guys. Anyone you want to call out?
Oh.
I think if you get the chance, Arshia and Ben
Yeah.
are, and I
Yeah.
just have spaced on the other assistant coach's name that was just hired as long, but Arshia is the new head coach. Ben's Ben's the new assistant coach, and there's another one. I'm sorry if I forgot his name.
He's from Quebec, I think.
Yeah, he's from Quebec. So if those, those, or even just Arshia as the new head coach,
Epic.
what he kind of expects, because he'll have to have a bit of a game plan, of course, with the double platforms that are going on at some point, because Canada's team's big. So it's going to have to be creative in the warm up and at lifting time. So might have a bit of strategy there, or just discussing. He's been a coach before. I believe he's been at least assistant coach, if not another head coach in a different meet. So, but he's awesome, and that's somebody I think you can maybe chat with.
Awesome. Would you send me his details on Instagram, please?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. Love it. Guys, thank you so much for your time. And, thank you for giving up your Sunday morning. It means the world to me. I'm sorry that I'm not getting to see you guys now, but then my next plan is Commonwealth, because you guys are hosting. So next year, so coming over to visit there, that's the plan. Want to see if I can convince Bill and the other guys to let me near a microphone. I don't think I did too bad a job at Sun City announcing 2 platforms simultaneously. There's zero break.
And that's two different international competitions.
Yeah, announcing 2 internationals simultaneously.
Not even the same competition.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there was none of that. Okay, you're getting a 10-minute break or a 20-minute break. Like, oh, gee, that one's still. Yeah. So thank goodness for Richard and for Bill, because they afforded me the opportunity to at least go to the bathroom, which was a lot of fun. So that's I really want to get over. So at least then I can come over and visit you guys, and have some fun.
Awesome.
That'll be very, very
Cheeto?
cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, please. Well, that's the real reason. It's to meet Cheeto, hey? Oh, yo. So, but guys, thank you so much. It was absolutely awesome to have you on and chat again. I know you're going to rock it. I know they're going to be world records. And I know you're going to have a lot of fun as well, both of you guys. So thank you for your time. And we want to chat when you're back.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay, epic. All right, guys, have an awesome evening. Morning. It's my evening. So I'm going to run off now, and I've got meeting some mates for some cigars, and then another mate for sushi. So it's a good evening. I'm very, very happy. Yep, 100%. Yeah. But guys, travel safe. Have fun, and look forward to watching you online and then chatting to you after the comp. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thanks,
all right,
Nick.
guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye.
That was absolutely awesome. Mimi, Frank, and Jacen, and obviously Cheeto. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to watching Mimi on Sunday the 18th as she competes in the World Bench Press Champs, both in Classic and Equipped. So I can highly, highly recommend that you watch that. Thank you for joining us. You've been watching Coffee and Conversations with Champions live from the Emet Media Studio in Johannesburg. My name is Nicholas Single. We do this for you guys. We love you guys. Oos.